you visit the company that you're going to research about. That's very, 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 very important. Okay, and if not for anything, it's going to increase, your understanding. Even if you are somebody who is already working, for example, you're working with Gambia and your research is on Standard Chartered. By visiting Standard Chartered and talking to their, how to call it, a staff, will add, additional, experience in your portfolio. Okay, so it's definitely good for you. Of course, you are bound to, go through challenges. Challenges are bound to happen because, I mean, it's third world country. It's very, very difficult sometimes getting information because people will think that you're trying to, find out about them, for a bad reason, when it's not the case. Because, what they need to understand is you are, students at a university, and you definitely need to, complete your academic work by, not only, lectures in the class, but also research, application. You see? So they need to understand that. And sometimes if you visit certain organizations and, getting access to their information, analyzing them and so on and so forth, sometimes when you give them feedback, that could, improve their operational efficiency, to a great deal. See, so, but unfortunately. Okay, anyway, let's move. So we're going to look at environmental management accounting. Okay, we're going to look at environmental management accounting. So our outline will look like this. We'll look at the definition of environment. So before we talk about environmental management accounting, we're going to look at what is environment. When we talk about environment, what are we talking about? And we try to apply it in our own country, the Gambia, and of course, the issues we have environmentally, we have so many of them, that if we don't arrest now, it's going to bring serious, serious problems in the future. Okay, so what are some of the common environmental problems? What are their causes, and how do we remedy them? Then we'll go through a case study of recycling in the Gambia. That's the good side, okay? If you talk about recycling, that means you're recycling waste, in this situation, and the recycling waste is like you're trying to manage your environment. You're trying to ensure that those waste are not, dumped into the environment to make them worse. Okay, so there was a how to call it? Of course, the institution is still existing that are into waste recycling. Of course, I know now there are lots of them, but this is a particular one that is worth knowing. So we'll look at introduction to EMA. Hopefully next class we'll look at those because we may not be able to finish all this. Categories of environmental costs, managing environmental costs, types of environmental costs. How do we identify environmental costs? If we identify them, how do we control them to ensure that they don't go out of hand? And accounting for environmental costs. As accountants, we need to account for environmental costs. So that's why environment is becoming very, very significant in this day and age. Okay, so we're going to look at the EU emission trading. Unfortunately, we don't have one in Africa. I don't know of. Otherwise, we could have used that. So we have to use the European Union emissions trading. And finally, we're going to look at a question on EU environmental trading system. Okay, so if we talk about environment, what are we talking about? Talk environment, everybody says, oh, my environment, my business environment, my home environment is very noisy, this, that. What is environment?
Your surrounding.
Yes, Fatu? It's your surrounding. Okay, that's a good one. Your surrounding. And your surrounding is everything that surrounds you.
Hello, Mr.
Yes.
What about the industry?
The industry.
It's a different.
Oh, Carla. Ooh.
Mr. Fufana, is a geographical area.
It's a geographical area.
Yes.
Your environment is a geographical area.
Yes.
Okay. And what is a geographical area?
Like a place that I occupied.
The place that you occupy, your house, huh?
Yes.
So your house is your environment?
Yes.
Yeah, it's part of your environment anyway. That's true. It's part of your environment.
Mr.
Okay. Yes. I mean, all the things you're saying make sense.
In general,
What
is
about the
the
industry?
surrounding or the condition in which a person or animal, plant, live or operate.
Okay. Is your surrounding condition in which animals or plants or yeah. So true. I mean, all the things you've mentioned are correct. Your like Yasin says, in you know where you live, of course, your house is considered as your environment because in your house you have your stuff, your furniture, how to call it, your fixtures and fittings, like that, your ventilation system and all that are your environment. But that's a smaller environment. Outside your house, within your locality, is all part of your environment. Okay, so our environment, in summary, is our surroundings or the conditions in which we live or we operate. Okay, so that's surroundings. So in other words, also, is a total sum of all surroundings of a living organism, including natural forces and other living things, which provide conditions for development and growth, as well as of danger and damage. Okay, so environment is really, really broad. So if you live in an area, for example, if you live in Nyomi, there are some villages that wolves come and then they try to catch people. So the wolves are part of their surrounding. Is that not the case, Usman?
Yes. What about the industry? Is it a different case? The industry.
Oh, so you accepted that in Yomi the wolves come and then they're part of your environment?
Of course they are. They have liberty to.
That's a good one. So I got you. Yes. That's on a lighter note. Yes. Yes, Abdullah.
Yeah. From your explanation, I think we can say environment is anything that affect our life.
Yeah.
It can refer to living and non-living factors that affect our life.
That affects our life. Yes, of course. That's a good point. Yeah. So it includes both our homes and not only our homes, but our business environment. Business environment means if you go out, even if you are a student, your business environment will be your university. Oh my God.
Mr. Fufana.
Yes.
Okay, let's say, since you said like where we walk and animals, we can define it as it's a place.
Also part of the Jara.
We can say it's the area.
Usman is trying to revenge. I don't mind him. Okay, go ahead, Yasser.
Okay, we can say since you said like it's a period where it's a place where we walk or where animals or human beings normally live, then we can say it's the area where plants, animals or plants operate or where we affect.
Yeah, where they can affect our lives. So if you're talking about someone, like if you are an individual. Oh yeah, please mute. Yeah. So if you're talking about an individual, your environment will include everything that is surrounding you. Okay? Plants, animals, vegetation, everything. Okay? That affects your life. So in summary, your environment is your surroundings, whether flora or fauna. As simple as that. Okay? Yes.
Savona, you know, something happened in Jara during around 2013. Serious thing.
Now, you have been very quiet. So when I talk about the wolves attacking, and that was true. So now you want to talk? I will not allow you to talk. Okay, let's proceed, please. Time is not on our side. Right. So, environmental issues in the Gambia and elsewhere. Okay, let's talk about the Gambia because that's what is affecting us. You know, so in other words, everything, you know, that affects us in the Gambia environmentally has got something to do with our life. So, in other words, all the surroundings that we have in the Gambia is part of our environment because as Gambians, we can move about anywhere. Okay, so let's discuss some of the environmental issues we have in the Gambia. I've shown you a picture, and I think everybody is aware of this picture, but the picture is changing now. If some of you are aware of what is happening in the area. Do we suspect what this picture will look where it comes from?
Yes.
Yeah, this is Bakote Dom side.
Bakote Dom side, exactly. Everybody's aware of Bakote Dom side.
But it's improving, eh?
It's improving, yes, it's improving. That's why I said that thanks to the new mayor, the young mayor, to be honest. I think they've started fencing it now, isn't it?
Yes,
it's already fenced.
Yesterday they launched a project.
Okay, yesterday they launched a project, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What will that project do?
Actually, I don't have details of the project, but I know it's funded by the Germans.
The Germans, okay. Oh, good. Actually, people like us have been advocating this for ages. I think since I've started lecturing MA3 in 2011, every semester I've been talking about it. I've posted lots of videos on it. I mean, it's just terrible. But anyway, thank God they've taken actions. The way Bakote Dam side used to be is just terrible. And it has affected lots of people's life. Not only the inhabitants of the area, even the passerbys. In those days, if you pass by Bakote Dam side area, you're seriously affected. You know, either you inhale bad smoke or bad smell, you know. So it's really, but I hope the project is going to continue and ensure they turn this place into, you know, benefits. You know, there are lots of waste there that could be turned, manufactured, processed into things that will benefit us. You know, some of this waste can be processed into chemical. Do you know that? Okay, so I think this is really important, and we all should contribute as Gambians. We should not keep quiet. Our environment affects all of us. Okay, it affects all of us. If our environment is good, we are going to be good because we will be healthy. Okay, so and if you are not healthy, naturally you cannot be wealthy. Okay, so it's really, really important that we advocate for our environment. Okay, how are we going to do that? What is your role? What is your role? Please, let's discuss it. This is very, very important. Look, accounting is not about number crunching. It's not about number crunching. There is lots more to that. Numbers come by as a result of activities, and those activities, if they are not properly done, the numbers won't be right. And those activities cannot be done without clean and healthy environment. So it's really, really important that we know our environment and we know our role. We shouldn't just keep quiet and say, this does not affect me, I'm not going to talk. So what is our role? Can we discuss this? What is your role? What is my role to ensure that we have a clean and healthy environment in the Gambia?
Yes, I think among our roles are to advocate for proper waste disposal.
Exactly. Proper waste disposal. And how do we advocate for proper waste disposal? And what is proper waste disposal in the first place?
Like we have in our office, we have waste bins that are color-coded.
Okay.
We separate the waste. We have you have paper, food, can, mix. We separate them. So some of them we are using it to turn it to manure so that we can use it in our garden. We have this in our office. This is what we are trying to put into the public also. If you're able to do that, you can dispose it properly, then you reduce the effect on the environment and health.
I'm very happy that you said it, but unfortunately it's coming from a Nyominka's mouth. But I know you are not talking with your Nyominka mouth, but you are talking with your hospitality in your mouth. So I'm really happy that you said it this way.
For sure. So this is what we have. And I want to invite everybody to come and look at it. I work at the hotel school.
This is what I'm saying, from the hospitality industry.
Yes, I am saying I want to invite everybody to come and look at it.
Yeah, and in fact, if you go to the West, actually, I don't know of other African countries because I've not stayed, in any African country except in a hotel. So in a hotel situation is always different. So, but in the West is exactly the way Suleiman has been describing it. One, waste has to be disposed of correctly. That's the starting. If you miss it, forget it. Where we collect waste from our homes, so we must get it right at the collection point. First, you must be able to separate your waste. Okay? Don't put all the different categories of waste in one basket. Don't put your food waste and your can waste and your paper waste, your carton waste in one same bin. You have to separate them. And just like Mr. Conrad said, they are color-coded. For example, in the UK, the black bin is always for food waste. Okay? Food waste. The green bin, okay? The green bin is always for agricultural waste, like weed, leaves, like that. So the green bin is always for agricultural waste, okay? And the blue bin is always for recyclables, like tin, paper, carton, and so on and so forth. So it's really, really important that we do that. Okay, so Cor, thanks for letting us know that. Okay, so but that's one thing. Environmental issues is more than waste management. There are a lot of things to environmental protection than waste. Lots of things in the Gambia. So that's one good point we've mentioned, Mr. Cor. So anyone else with another issue, environmental issue in the Gambia? So many of them we have, so many of them.
Deforestation.
Deforestation. Okay, deforestation. And wallahi, this is the most serious one. And it's affecting us big time. If we don't stop deforestation now, come 10 years, you will not see any tree in the Gambia. Or even if you are going to see, it's going to be very, 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 very small comparatively. In the West, all the Western countries I've visited, rainy season rain does not have a season. It rains continuously. You will never go to certain countries whereby you will be there for 1 week or for 2 weeks continuously without rain. It's not possible. Even in Ghana here, they have their main rainy season, which is at least 6 months, and they have their mini rainy season, which is at least 3 months. So it's like in Ghana, it rains almost 9 months in a year. But in the Gambia, how many months in a year? How many months in a year in the Gambia?
Gambia, maximum 4 months.
Maximum 4 months, effectively. Sometimes even that 4 months is not effective. And why it's not raining, I know one of the most important reasons is deforestation. We are killing all our trees, wallahi, in the name of this small money. In my time, when we were young, you can only get charcoal from special trees, like one of the commonest trees, we call it in Mandinka as keno, okay, and a lot of few others that you can use for charcoal. But now, wallahi, even broom, they can use it for charcoal. Can you imagine that? Broom. This, they call it fur or whatever. I don't know who came up with this idea, but it's destroying our country big time. Now, just fly the south bank. Along the way, in the Fonies, in the Kians, even in Jara, along the way, you will find charcoal everywhere. And I don't even know what's the forestry doing. There's a department that is called forestry. I don't know what they are doing.
And the Chinese are exploiting us as well.
Huh?
The Chinese as well, they're exploiting us.
Yes, I know the Chinese are exploiting us. I know. I very well know. So what is the government doing about it? What are we doing about it? Because we should say it. It's going to affect us. It's going to affect us big time. Not only rainfall. There are a lot of other things. We could be exposed to these tsunamis. Who knows? Na'uzubillah. Okay? Easily. Look at all these winds. Now when it's about to rain in some instances, there will be huge wind, and the wind will destroy, lots of places. Do you know why? Because there are no trees. Trees serve as windbreakers as well. They serve as windbreakers. Unfortunately, we need to do something. So sad. Anyway, let's move on. So, of course, common environmental problems. We're going to talk about them generally. The global warming, I'm sure you're all aware of it, is a big problem. And its cause is, of course, it depletes the ozone layer, according to the scientists. And what's the ozone layer? The ozone layer is that kind of membrane or that particular thing that serves as a barrier between, the earth and, of course, the sun. So, in other words, the ozone layer is that thing that prevents us, humans and animals, from getting the direct, rays of the sun, from getting infrared radiation from the sun. Okay, so if it depletes, we don't have any choice except it will affect us as animals, as humans, and of course, it's going to affect our plants. Okay, so due to this depletion is causing a lot of global warming, and global warming is resulting in lots of destructions. One of it is the melting of the Arctic and the Antarctic. If you know the Arctic and the Antarctic, these are, ozones that are ice. Okay, so now if you go, you can Google this and you'll see what I'm talking about. The Arctic and the Antarctic, they are now melting due to global warming. Okay, and of course, what happens is the water or the ozone that is kind of frozen will rise, because the water is gonna rise to sea levels, and it's gonna cause floods and so on. This is happening in other countries. Okay? natural disasters like tsunamis, earthquakes, tornadoes, just name them. So they are happening. Thank God we are not experiencing that in this part of the world. But who knows? Who knows if we continue to do what we are doing? Okay, and of course, it results to bad agricultural yield due to felling of trees, illegal dumping, and so on and so forth. Okay, so diseases as a result of pollution may cause death and so on. So these are some of the environmental problems that we have happening. These are only a few of them. Okay, we know there are loads of them. Yes.
It's not only Ministry of Forestry, it's even local government and lands.
Yes.
Because now they are selling most of our lands to these estate agencies. They are cutting down the trees and putting their estates.
Yes.
So,
yes, you're right. You're right. And in fact, that's another major problem in the Gambia. The estate agencies are not controlled. Okay? They are not regulated at all, which is very serious. So any Tom, Dick, and Harry can jump up today and say, I'm going to establish an estate agency. So it's just sad. It's just sad. What we're facing in this country is just, so we can't continue like that. If we continue like that, it's going to be, you're right, Yasin. They will buy lands from these people and they will try to cut it, 20 by 20, 15 by 20, 30 by 30, 25 by 30, and all that, and sell it to people at exorbitant prices without factoring, even public amenities. They won't factor spaces for schools. They won't factor spaces for praying grounds, for churches. Okay, they won't factor graveyards.
Just like the issue at Salaji, because when physical planning took part of their land for social amenities, at the end of the day, you will see them selling to individuals. So the people of Sukuta, they could not bear it because they feel that the government is cheating them. They take it for social amenities and they are selling it back, and people are settling there. So at the end of the day, it's not fair.
I know. It's just unfortunate. It's just you're right. It's not only the Ministry of Forestry, but it's a collective, thing that the government needs to do something about it. Otherwise, we'll be in trouble. Okay. So, what are causes of some of these environmental problems? We've talked about them. Of course, cutting of trees and using them for wood and charcoal. That's very common in the Gambia. We know that. And, like I said, now you can use any tree. Even leaves, they can make it as charcoal, unfortunately. So sad. So sad. That's why you have charcoal everywhere. And what a lot of people fail to understand is charcoal is very expensive compared to gas. Okay? For those of you that are using charcoal, try changing to gas. Initially, it's going to be more expensive because you have to buy a gas bottle for maybe, depending on the size, 2,000 plus, 3,000 plus, and so on and so forth. Okay? But overall, it is a lot cheaper cooking with gas than charcoal. Charcoal is very expensive now. The minimum is like $250, $275. In some places, you pay $300 for one bag. So overall, it is definitely cheaper to use gas to cook. Okay, so the problems, of course, are inadequate rainfall and, of course, lack of irrigation. That's why we're complaining. Rice is very expensive. Rice is very expensive. In the Gambia, in the first place, we are not supposed to import rice. We're supposed to cultivate our own rice if there is proper irrigation system in the country, period. In the, Central River region to Upper River region, throughout the year, they have fresh water. So easily, we could have our own properly irrigated Gambian rice and stop importing rice into the country. But what are we doing? Unfortunately, what are we doing? Not just this government, but even previous governments. So it's just unfortunate. We need to change the status quo. Look at our chicken. Senegal have done it. Senegal, you're not allowed to import any chicken products into the country, you know, except for fertile eggs that they use to produce the day-old chicks. Okay, but you're not allowed to import any chicken meat or eggs in Senegal. You're not allowed. All the eggs that they eat and all that is all produced in Senegal. Why can't we do the same thing in the Gambia? Yeah, it's unfortunate. And bushfires, this is something else that kills my spirit. I hate seeing bushfire. And if you travel along the South Bank, it's very common. You know, sometimes even the grass will not dry, they will set bushfire. You know, around October, November, you see so many bushfires. And it's so bad. You know, it kills our plant, it kills our vegetation, it kills our animals even. Even our animals, it kills them. Okay? So we've spoke about the unsolicited dumping and so on and so forth. There is one thing also that you should all take note of. Please, if you are out and about, you drink a canned drink, or maybe you have sipped a baobab juice, please don't throw the empty tin or whatever rubbish in the street. Don't do that. And it's very typical of Gambians. Don't do that. Keep your rubbish in your bag or somewhere else until you can see a place where you can dispose it of easily. Class, this is a promise I want each and every one of you to take. So I want each and every one of you to say that you have promised me that you'll do it. I know we're going to stop very soon in the next 5 minutes or so because we don't want to eat, but I want to commit you. Do you understand me? I want each and every one of you to promise me that you are not going to litter your rubbish on the street. And it's very typical of Gambians. That's why when people enter in my vehicle, I have all this rubbish maybe in my front seat or whatever. They will ask me, what is wrong with you? Why is your vehicle so dirty? I say, look, I'm out and about. Maybe I bought bananas or I bought peanuts and so on and so forth. I cannot throw it on the street. If I throw it on the street, another driver comes and throw it on the street. There will come a time nobody will be able to move on the road. Is that not the case?
Yes, of course.
So are we all promising that we are not going to throw our litter on the street?
Yes, we are promising.
Yes, I promise.
You promise,
Yes, I promise.
Okay. Everyone must promise.
Yes, I promise. I also promise.
Danzo?
Yes, I promise.
You know your Lord is listening to you. Our Jadama? Batu Drame? Danzo, did you promise?
Yes, I promise.
Ibrahim AK Drame? Ibrahim Sisi?
Yes.
Ibrahim, do you promise that you are not going to throw rubbish on the street?
Of course, yes, of course.
Good, good. You are a
Yeah, from
Jara.
Jara.
Yes, I know you will fulfill your promise. I know. Nyomikas don't fulfill their promise, but I know you will. Ibrahim Sisi? Okay, Cham, you already did.
Yes, I did.
Fatu? Kamara? Fatu Seka? And
yes, I did.
It's so dangerous. You know, some people, especially with banana skin, it can cause accident easily. What we don't understand is, if you throw your rubbish, okay, on the street, let's say it's food rubbish, it gets rotten. You know, virus, usually it will easily cut this viral disease and so on and so forth. It gets dry, so wind comes and blow that, virus stuff and enters into somebody's mouth or somebody's nose. the person can catch a disease. And that disease can cause death for that person. Who killed the person? Who killed the person? Oreja, who killed that person? Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
So who killed that person?
The one who throws the
one who threw the rubbish.
Yeah.
Easily. And the one who threw the rubbish will not realize it. He has thrown it and he has gone to bed. You know, so I think it's, you know, let's keep our country clean. Let's keep our country environmentally friendly. You know, it's really important, and we are all part. If you see somebody throwing rubbish on the street, talk to the person nicely. It's common sense. If you throw your rubbish on the street on the way, I come and throw it, somebody comes and throws it, before 1 year, nobody will be able to move. And unfortunately, we don't have people who clean our streets in this country, except in few areas. Even market areas, the people who are assigned to clean it don't clean it properly. In the West, public places like market areas, city centers, there are people who are responsible for cleaning, and they make sure they clean it throughout. But here, people will be paid to clean places, but they will never clean it. And they'll still receive salaries. So if that is the case, let's make sure that we don't make those places dirty. Okay? So we're going to stop here, and I hope and pray that even those who have not spoken have taken their promise. And not only you promising that you are not going to do it, but you are going to tell people to stop it in case you see them anytime. Agreed, everybody?
Yes, agreed.
Very good. Okay, so thanks for having me. We're going to continue with EMA next class, inshallah.
Okay, thanks, Mr. Wong.